To add to the heated political fallout of the Iraq crisis tonight, 3 former UK ambassadors and major public figures have called for Tony Blair's removal as Middle East envoy. That campaign is supported by MPs from different parties, including Respect MP George Galloway, who joins us now from Coatbridge in Scotland. And with me here, Tony Blair's former special advisor, John McTiernan. And I suppose inevitably, given tonight's extraordinary developments across Iraq and across the Middle East generally, George Galloway, one is bound to question whether your preference for the unelected dictators in Assad and Saddam Hussein perhaps beats Tony Blair's interest in invading Iraq.
Well, that's an entirely false dichotomy and a diversion from what we're here to talk about, which is the 7 years that Tony Blair has spent as the quartet's envoy. They've been 7 fat years for him, but they've been 7 lean years for the people of the Arab Middle East. The Palestinians are under lockdown, being shot down, being arrested on a mass basis every day. Egypt is falling to pieces, as you've just been discussing. And do I need to mention Iraq, which is now almost not a functioning state at all. So it's enough. Enough is enough. It's time to sack Blair.org. Thousands of people are signing up, including British ambassadors that we pay for their expertise in the Middle East.
That's enough of the promotion for your campaign, but let me talk to you, John McTiernan. It must be very hard not to look at the Middle East and say, hang on a minute, if we could wind the clock back, this was a grave mistake, and it was a mistake in which Mr. Blair was very, very heavily involved. The original invasion.
No, it wasn't a mistake to go into Iraq. It's not a mistake now to try to defend Kurdish democracy and Iraqi democracy. What is a mistake is to, in some way, decide
hang on a minute, Iraqi democracy that has excluded the Sunnis. No, I mean in the sense that they have no role in government.
In Iraqi democracy, which is yet, as Lindsay said on your report, to form a new government, the voters punished al-Maliki. Now the government has to be formed there, but there is a democracy there, 5 elections since 2003. But the point here is it's not right to blame Tony Blair for the failure of the government of Israel to come to a peace deal with the Palestinian people. That is a failure in Israel. Tony Blair's visited the Middle East 117 times. He's working hard with all the principals. He's working hard on economic development. He's doing the job the quartet asked him to do.
Well, let's put that specific point. Not fair to blame Tony Blair for Israel. Do you want us to stick to Iraq, or have we got to talk about Israel as well?
Well, everyone is blaming him. Everyone except the one man you managed to find in London who's counting the number of times he's visited the Middle East. A fat lot of good all those 117 visits have done. The Gaza Strip is living on the edge of starvation. The West Bank is on lockdown. There have been 4 children killed in the last 10 days by Israel. The Egyptian regime is locking up Al Jazeera journalists and sentencing your own former colleague to 10 years in jail. Iraq is half controlled by Al-Qaeda, and the other half appears to be in the hands of Shiite militia. It is an absolute, unalloyed catastrophe. And if John McTiernan was being honest, he'd have to agree that Mr. Blair, for all his 117 visits, is not achieving anything.
Well, let me take John McTiernan back to Israel. Yeah. Where was Tony Blair when the Israelis were flattening Gaza?
The point about Tony Blair...
No, that's a big question. Where was he? How often has he been to Gaza?
He's been 117 times to the Middle East.
How often has he been to Gaza?
I don't know how many times.
I can tell you, once.
Okay.
I mean, that isn't good enough, is it? Well, that place is absolutely strangled, completely strangled. The Egyptians have cut them off. The Israelis have cut them off.
Gaza has been given back to the Palestinian people. The settlers, the Israeli settlers there, were moved out by the Israeli army. The Israelis are able, when they decide to move out of an area, to evacuate an area.
And then strangle it.
No, the issue is to stop the terrorists firing.
The issue is surely to bring. You talk about democracy. What about the people of Gaza? What is to happen to them? They voted for a particular government. It happened to be Hamas, but they voted for it in free and democratic elections. But nobody liked it, and as a consequence, they have been strangled.
Well, no.
And where has Tony Blair been in defending them?
Tony Blair's job is to try to get the principals ready to do two things. One is to create economic development in Palestine, which is a central part of any independent democracy there. And the second one is to put as much pressure as he can on behalf of the quartet.
Well,
on the
let's
Israeli
ask you
government.
a brutal question. Is he going to resign before he's pushed?
There's no chance he'll be pushed. There's no chance he'll resign. He's doing the job the quartet asked for, and it's the Prime Minister, Netanyahu, who has to make the peace deal.
John McTernan and George Galloway, thank you both very much.